Welcome to NFL Championship Change the Draft, presented by Mercedes-Benz. I'm Adam Shine, joined by Steve Berline, Greg Cosell, and Corey Chavis. Guys, the topic, defensive lineman in this year's NFL Draft. And Greg, give me someone who intrigues you.
Arik Armstead from Oregon, 6'7", 292. He had 3 plays a game, Adam, where he literally lifted offensive guards off the ground. Trey Jackson is still trying to figure this out from Florida State. And this guy is very athletic, very big. He reminds me of Calais Campbell.
That's a great name. Steve, to me, when you talk about this group, it starts with Leonard Williams.
I think it has to start with Leonard Williams, whether you love him or not. I'm on the camp that really does think highly of this guy. I think you can line him up anywhere in the defensive front, over centers, over guards, over tackles. He's got a matchup advantage over all these guys. He's young, he's raw, but he's big. He moves people, creates all kinds of problems up front for offensive lines. He's going to be a force for a lot of years.
Corey, you a believer in Danny Shelton?
I am. I think Danny Shelton, for me, I just wonder sometimes, how much weight is too much weight. So I think he needs to settle down where he's at now. And remember, you're going to be eating differently in the NFL. He's got to keep those concerns, I think, to a minimum because, he is light-footed. I think he does play powerfully, but he has short arms. And that's a concern for me anytime you're talking about an interior defensive lineman with short arms.
There are a lot of teams, Greg, in the first round that need edge rushers and guys who can get to the quarterback, and there are some really interesting guys in this year's draft.
The more I watched Dante Fowler from Florida, the more I really liked him. I think he's the most explosive, pure edge rusher, and he's a 3-4 outside backer. Very reminiscent to me of a Justin Houston-type player. 6'3", 260, really good size and movement.
Who stands out to you, Steve?
A guy that really jumps out to me is a guy out of Kentucky, Bud Dupree. I think this guy is an absolute freak who we haven't even begun to see how good this guy's going to be. 6'4", 269, running a sub-4.6 40, and coming off the edge, also can drop into coverage. I think he's a great fit in any 3-4 scheme as an outside edge rusher.
Corey?
I like a guy that's probably not going to go as high as some of the guys that mentioned. That's Nate Orchard out of Utah. I think he's heavy-handed. I think he gave some of the top tackles problems in this draft. Didn't test real well in the postseason, and once those contests started coming out, his stock started dropping. But when you turn the tape on, I thought, he did a good job against Ty Sambraio in their final game, the Las Vegas Bowl. And those are the matchups you want to see him have success against because I think Sambraio's a draftable either guard or tackle on the first 2 days. So that's a guy to keep your eye on in this draft, Nate Orchard. I think he's a good player.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching.